Welcome to another episode of I'm Dying to Tell You. This is Dr. Mark Goulston, trying to fit in as many things that I think will be of value to you before I undergo some treatments, which might make thinking a little bit more of a challenge for me. What I wanted to talk to you about today was the subject of mental real estate. Mental real estate. This was introduced to me by Tony Baxter. He was one of the lead Imagineers at Disney. And he said to me, "Do you know what mental real estate is?" one day. And I said, "No." He said, "Mental real estate is when you come up with something that's kind of familiar to people, so you get into their minds. That's the real estate. But then you twist it in a way so you get even more." So, for instance, he said, Pirates of the Caribbean owns the word pirates in the minds of kids, because when kids think of pirates, they think of Pirates of the Caribbean. And I thought this was such a fascinating principle. And there's a number of books that I could mention that have a fair amount of mental real estate. One of them is by my friend and colleague, Marshall Goldsmith. It was his big, mega book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. What got you here won't get you there. And it was basically a book about that you need to be more than your technical expertise, which gets you to a certain level of success in your career, when you have to start working with people. And if you're not able to work with people effectively, no matter how smart you are, you're not going to be able to get from here to there. Another book by a friend of mine, Keith Ferrazzi, wrote a book called Never Eat Alone. If you think of those three words, they're kind of emotional. Never eat alone. Some of my books seem to have that title. One was called Get Out of Your Own Way. So people can feel that, and they can then apply it to themselves. Another one of my books was called Just Listen. And that has mental real estate, because are you telling other people to just listen to you? Or is this a book about teaching you how to just listen so you can be more effective? And the book is about the latter. I had another book called Talking to Crazy. And when I asked people, I'm thinking of writing a book called Talking to Crazy, even without knowing what it was about, they would say, "Oh, I need that book today." Why? "Oh, I have to deal with people that drive me crazy all day long." And that, by the way, that wasn't a book about mental illness. It was basically about people who drive you crazy. And it became an even bigger mega book for mental real estate when it was released in Russia, because the Russian edition of Talking to Crazy is How to Talk to Assholes. How to Talk to Assholes. And the book went viral in Russia. In fact, I was asked to speak there and be a main speaker along with a Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast and Slow. Genius of a guy. And I asked them, "Why do you have me as a main speaker along with such a famous, profound person?" And they said, "Doctor, his book did not go viral." And viral it went, because when I went to Moscow and when I had some time off, I would wander around the bookstores and Moscow. The people, probably outside of America, most peoples of the world, if they're not just trying to survive, read a lot more than Americans. And when I would go into bookstores and I'd say, "Oh, do you have this book?" They would say, "Oh, it's the Talking to Asshole. Go on, let's take pictures with him." And that's what they did. So what are you using to grab people's attention? And again, it should be familiar. So that draws people in, that causes them to lower their guard. And then it repurposes it. Uh, I think the title of these episodes has some mental real estate. I'm dying to tell you. So that's a fairly visceral image. And then when people find out that what I'm talking about is what dying is teaching me that living never did, I think it gets even more mental real estate. So I think this is a good concept to share in your company with other people, or if you're thinking of writing a book or creating a speech or coming up with a title. So give it some thought. How much mental real estate do you own? And what could you do to make that better? Thanks again, and stay tuned for more of these episodes.